John Harris here. I'm going to get behind the microphone. I'm with Mike Kenney, Deseree Kenney,
Lisa Swift.
and Lisa Swift. I knew it was Swift. I totally forgot the last.
You gotta be swifter than that.
I'll be swifter than that. I'm just not that swift. So I'm going to go ahead and put us on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live, and we'll be downloading this to Wildfire Radio and iTunes and Google Play and YouTube and all those beautiful things here.
Nice.
But, and of course I forgot, I think I know them. Okay. I actually have something written out for sponsors. So I may walk away and come back while these guys are talking and stuff like that. I do want you guys to know right up front we're going to do the best we can. We're hoping power doesn't go out in the next 45 minutes to an hour because we are getting some storm.
Yeah. Just a little tornado.
Just a touch. So I'm waiting here to see if we are live yet. Supposedly we are, but I don't see anything generating on Facebook as of yet. But if we do, we'll start sharing the pages to some other spots for you. But we are live on Facebook, and I am with Mike Kenney from Kenney Protective Agency.
Hey,
How are you, sir?
Perfect, perfect. Beautiful night.
It's a beautiful night here in Rosenhain, right? We're technically in Rosenhain, Upper Deerfield,
area, yeah.
Bridgeton area. I'm looking to see it. It says live, so maybe it's just taking a minute or something's going on here. I don't know. If you guys see it, let me know on your pages. I don't see it yet. But hopefully it's recording. Oh, there it is. I got it. So I'm going to share away. And anybody, obviously, you guys can interact with us if you have any questions about what we're talking about or what we do. Please go ahead and interact. I'm going to monitor that while we're here so that we can answer your questions if you have them, or we can just say hello. I mean, we're all semi-friendly, right? You know. There we go. And why is that? There we go. Okay. So yeah, let us know. Hey, a friend of mine's watching. Actually, gentleman that puts on shows. He's had me on shows up in New York City. Julius, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? We may have a little fun. I am here hoping that my criminal record doesn't come out, because if so, when I get jailed, these three, they're all retired New Jersey direct. Tell me what you guys are. Oh,
We'll start with you.
Start with you.
Ladies first.
There you go, ladies first. Come on.
I was community corrections.
Community
Director-
corrections. Okay.
Director for Department of Corrections at Parolees.
And parolees in New Jersey for the
In
state.
New Jersey. No.
Not for the state, for the
I don't
county.
get paid like these people.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Oh
No,
man.
private companies.
Private company. Okay. Oh, that's good. Sometimes that's better. Sometimes it's not. Mike.
Retired Sergeant, New Jersey Department of Corrections, 25 years, and the last 10 years been doing Director of Security in Community Corrections as well as owning my own company here, the Kenney Protective Agency.
Lisa.
So I did retire from the Department of Corrections. I had 20 years in. Started as an officer, ended up as an associate administrator in the facilities of the state. So I know, fancy, I know. And it really doesn't mean a whole lot of anything except to let me retire at 20 years instead of 24.
Well, that's what's important.
Perfect.
It got me out quicker.
Exactly.
That's what we all said about our pension that last couple of
Exactly.
years. We go, I really don't like promotions, and I don't really like people going, but you know, that pension money is a big difference. In
Gotta
the
do what you gotta do.
I'll take a test.
Absolutely.
Sure, I'll take a
Yeah.
test. Yeah.
For sure.
So, yep. So we can talk about just about anything, but you guys, I want you to talk about, first off, Mike especially, what you guys do here. And I took one of the classes you had here, so go all the way down the line and let us know what these guys did. Is that mine?
That is yours, okay.
Oh, and by the way, the great thing about Facebook Live and anybody watching video, or if you're listening, you can sit back and listen to me drink a beer while Mike tells us
Right.
about Kenney Protective Agency.
Great. Thanks for joining us tonight. Again, we've been in business for a little over a year as a security company. We offer traditional security services, but we're trying to look into non-traditional services as well for the Cumberland County and surrounding area. One of the things that we offer is Security Home Watch, and this is a perfect time of year. People traveling, going on vacation. If you don't have anybody to watch your residence, we have several packages that, you know, from just an outer inspection to inside and starting your car for you and watering your plants. And with the way the storms are, you might want the basement checked as well today, you know, while you're away. Absolutely. So we do offer Security Home Watch. We offer security for houses of worship.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's a shame the way things are going today.
It is.
But, you know, the objective is to be safe, be ready, be prepared, just in case something happens. Hopefully you don't need, you know, security in places like that, or never have to use them. But if they're there in place, you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more of a feeling, and I'm not saying this to make it fun, but it is a feeling of security, you know, a secure feeling to know that, you know, someone's checking on this for me, or someone's here to make sure they've got my back, you know, someone's watching my property. It's a big, you know, sometimes you just take a big sigh of relief and go,
Yeah, unfortunately, especially for places of worship, just what Mike was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, I mean, the world is what it is at this point, and it's a thing that people need to make themselves feel comfortable when they're you know, enjoying their faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you just never know anymore, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting in your temple, in your church, in your place of worship, and have to be looking over your shoulder, or every time the door opens, you know, what's behind me, you know, or every time somebody stands up in front of you, what are they going to turn around and what are they going to do?
Right.
So, I mean, you guys are absolutely right. It is a big concern in today's day and age,
And
unfortunately.
no place that's been attacked thought they were going to be attacked that day.
Right.
So
Right.
one of the great things that we offer, we're certified by Sheepdog Church Security. So we have a whole program that goes from developing your own safety team, you know, to teach everybody that wants to do it, how to do it, all the way to how to do background checks for your Sunday school.
Right.
All the way
that's
to-
important.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
that's really important.
Right, all the way to becoming a shelter.
Yeah.
How to set that up, fire emergencies. It's not all about getting shot.
Right. No, it's true.
And you know, one of the things you hear a lot of times, people say, well, we've got a lot of members in the church who they're retired, they carry off duty or whatnot, and they encourage that, which is a beautiful thing, absolutely. But the idea is that while you're in church and you're partaking as a parishioner or you know, in the church, you're not really observing what's going on around you. So if you have a safety team in place that their job is to observe what goes on, any of the retired law enforcement or active law enforcement that's there that are carrying can assist them if need be. Okay, but they're not really paying attention. They're partaking in the services versus standing around in the back and observing,
Right.
trying to stop a incident before it happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it makes people just feel comfortable, I think, to know that even though it might not in the end be specifically you guys providing that service, you're showing them how to protect themselves.
Correct.
And that, I think that really gives people a sense of empowerment and, you know, just a safe feeling.
I mean, it can be attractive from new members too. If you're shopping for a church and this church has a safety team in place, and I know I can leave my child because they do background checks, and I know that this is a community center for nights like tonight, hopefully not. It's very attractive, and it's organized, and it shows that you care about your community and your parishioners as
Yeah.
well.
A lot of times there are even sort of reunification centers for if there's an issue at a school.
Yes.
Correct.
They'll transport the kids over there. So just being orderly about things and you know, having a sort of protocol set up for if that's going to happen
So we
is a
teach
good
all
thing.
that,
Yeah.
even with the forms that they need, we provide.
That's awesome.
That, to me, one of those things, I know I walked away for a minute, but I know what these guys do, and I know how much work they put into this, and how dedicated they are to it. And if we think about it, all three of us think about it, really, a lot of people at this point would say, I put in my time. I did my public service, I'm done with people, you know what? But to me, what I like is that, Mike, especially by starting your company, you've picked up a the gauntlet and said, you know what, just because this ended doesn't mean this ends. We still need to look out for people. We all need to look out for each other. And that's really part of what I admire and what you did, and what you guys still do. I took a class with Mike teaching a SORA class. I'm going to let people know what SORA is, Mike. I'm going to move this here.
Well, SORA is the licensing that you need in New Jersey to be a security officer to legally work. There are some exemptions for some private places, like government offices may not need it, but the majority of security work you're required to have a SORA license in New Jersey, whether it be armed or unarmed. And so myself and Lisa are both certified instructors by the New Jersey State Police, so that we can, properly instruct initial students, staff that already have a license that need a renewal, and as well as active law enforcement officers. Active law enforcement officers also, if they decided to work on their days off, are required to have a SORA license in New Jersey. So we can also help them with that process. They're exempt from the classroom part, but they still have some of the processes that they need to do, and Lisa and I can help with that as well.
Absolutely.
And that's what's really cool. Like I said, I took the class. It's 24 hours, I think.
The initial class is 24 hours.
Right.
Renewal is 8 hours.
Okay. I took the 24, obviously. Did security work here for a long time. Of course, retired as a police officer. But let me tell you something. You learn something new every class. You learn something new every day. And the other part, too, is even if you're in that mode and you think, I did all this, it can't hurt to refresh either.
Absolutely.
There's things you forget.
When there's new things, and there's new things that happen. There's always new best practices. There's always new updates to how people are approaching things at a certain time because of events changing in the world. So just keeping up on that is a job in
It
itself.
all changes every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, every day it all changes, and it's like, what can I do? What can I not do?
And having like Lisa as part of the team is great, because one of her passions is training, instructing. And the years that I worked with Lisa in the DOC, she was a great instructor. She loved firearms.
Be very careful.
And she has a passion for that more than wanting to be on the ground, still doing security work. The training aspect, that's what her passion is.
Yeah.
So that's why she's a great asset to our team here coming on board. She's going to be teaching some CPR, some SOAR classes. We just added CPR.
I was just going to say, you guys were telling me before we started, you guys just added CPR.
Yep.
And Lisa, you
Yes,
teach that?
I do. I actually, in the course of over my career, have been certified through American Heart.
Okay.
I've been certified through the Red Cross. I have an current instructor cert with them, and currently we'll be teaching under ASHI, which is the American Safety and Health Institute.
Okay.
So those are the big three when you're talking about required certifications. Like, a lot of the hospitals will require one of those three to be
I want to
had.
talk to you guys when we're off about the next time you guys are going to have it.
Yeah,
Because I've taken obviously CPR quite a bit, but haven't taken it in a while. It's always a good thing to know and to have.
Yeah, for sure.
That changes too, and that's what a lot of people don't realize.
That does change.
That changes drastically. Like any class you take for CPR or first aid changes drastically.
Yeah, they do. Most of the groups, every 5 years or so, they all have science researchers that work for them.
Right.
So about every 5 years, they all will review any changes that need to be made based on the science, based on new information, and they will update the training. So if you took a CPR training 5 years ago, it's going to be different than what I give you now.
Okay.
So that's why it's important to take those updated classes. Yeah.
And I always wonder too, but I guess they do that when you have to recertify technically if you think about it. I guess you're refreshing, but I always wondered, we'll say you have a CPR class, and how long do they usually do for the certification?
2 years. Now most of them are good for 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So I always wondered, why didn't you have a refresher a year in? You know what I
Yeah, well, they used to. Yeah, they used to do every year. They used to be,
Yeah,
but
it used to be every year.
every year. And then one of them, I think it was American Heart, started with, well, let's move it to 2. These practices don't really change that often. You know what I mean? Like if you wait for 2 years, you'll get everything that's new. So they all pretty much went to that. Now the key is that when you come for your refresher,
Right.
that the instructor makes sure that you show them the skills again, that you remember how to do the skills, that you
Right.
understand what the classroom portion is, because it's a few hours depending on what you're getting trained in of
Right.
classroom, and then the skills.
Yeah.
And it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing, how what you're doing is going to affect that person that you're helping.
Well, that's the thing.
So it's important.
Now, not so much as long as you follow everything, but there were times years ago, give away age, but there were times years ago when I would arrive in horse and buggy to a scene. Slip that right in there.
You did.
Yeehaw!
Hey, at least you weren't walking.
No, it's
See that?
true, that horse did, but that horse was complaining like a son of a bitch. It's fat. But when you get to a scene, and I had to do CPR a few times, as I'm sure we all have
Mhm.
actually, and of course the success makes you feel real good, but of course the other side is you feel real bad if you can't go, but you have to go through it, and you have to make the effort, and you have to try. And there's stories I'm sure we can all tell, and maybe we'll tell a couple of them, but the thing with me is that years ago, if you weren't careful, and I guess still the same way, you could break somebody's ribs.
Yeah, well, that's
And that's probably still
sure. It's sort of
a
in.
risk you have to take.
It is an absolute risk, but the trade-off is: do I worry about a broken rib, or do
Right.
I worry about giving this person
Right.
a chance to
I'll
survive?
recover from a broken
Absolutely,
rib. All
absolutely.
right, but if my heart goes,
Yeah.
I mean, unlike what my ex-wife says, I do have a heart.
Exactly.
Well, you're safe in this room, so
I'm
don't worry.
saving this room.
We got you.
Woo!
Yeah, we got you.
CPR, right
Right,
there. I'm
there you
done.
go.
It's over. So we're good right there. So there's a bunch of people watching, at least from my side. I don't know if you guys are checking your pages to see if they are or not, or if you
Can't
even
see.
don't care. I'm like, God,
We care, but
we care, but
We came to talk to you.
that's nice. That's cool, man. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that, guys. It's nice to meet Lisa.
Yes, absolutely. This
She
is
obviously
fun.
knows her shit. Yeah.
Lisa, do you want to?
We can swear, by the way, on here, and as you can tell, guys,
Yeah, I'm
we can
hoping.
drink a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping I don't, on my way home, get pulled over by an active duty law enforcement
No, that's
officer.
all we need.
That
right
would not
now.
be good.
I got good news and I got bad news.
Yeah, right.
Now, Lisa, do you want to introduce Tracy as well? She
Yes.
couldn't be with us. She's still on the job and she's working tonight, but
Okay.
she's another addition to our team.
Yeah. Yeah, Tracy and I are partners. We've taught with the Department of Corrections since I could teach. I mean, 5 years in, I ended up being able to retire at 20. She's working on her 25, so she's still working. I was able to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a little bit more time than me when I started, but we started teaching right away, and there is not a person that I would rather teach with than Tracy.
Awesome.
And yeah, unfortunately, I hate that she couldn't be here tonight, but she is really passionate about teaching and putting out good product, which I think is why we work so well together and work with Mike and Deseree so well, because I'm not okay with putting out, just signing off on people
Right.
to get through classes.
Make
So,
them learn it. No.
yeah, absolutely.
And
And
you know what? Let's face it. If I'm that guy having a heart attack, and no lie, I'm having an echo alarm because they think they so.
Yeah,
You never know. So I'm having one on the road. But here's the thing. You can't, if you rubber stamp them, as they say, all right, and now I'm that guy, all right, that needs somebody to do CPR. I don't want the guy that's been rubber stamped. I don't want the girl that's been rubber stamped.
Yeah.
You know, and saying, hey, I tell a joke when I go out and do some comedy, or I've tried it a couple times, and I'm still going to continue to tell it because, as far as I'm concerned, it affects me. And in a way, think about it. Doctors are great, and they're dedicated, and they put in a lot of work. But when I get something done, I want the guy that was near the top of the list. I don't want to go into the doctor's office and go, hey, Doc, I see that you're great. What was your GPA? What were your grades, Doc? If you're going to work on my internal organs,
you
I want to find out how you did when you studied internal medicine. I want to find out, because if you got a C or a D in internal and an A, and cardio. Let's just go back to the cardio. All right, I gotta go. Matter of fact, who was the best internal medicine person in your class? Give me that.
Exactly.
I mean, you can go with it because I'm like, I don't, and I know I practiced law, or I didn't practice law. I'm sorry. I graduated law school. I did like 2 cases in Massachusetts, and I will tell you flat out that if you came to an office that I had as a lawyer, you would not want me to be your tax lawyer. I will tell you now, because I passed it. It was a lot of work. But if you ever want to go to sleep at night, open up a federal tax law book. Biggest odds say 3 to 5 pages, you're out.
All right.
You're gone. You're gone. But you're out because it's just brutal. And it's just awful. But then there are things that obviously were interesting. So, and you put yourself through it. So there are a lot of people watching, at least from what I can see, and I'm thankful for that. Like we already talked about Julius, who's up in New York and Maryland and places like that, producing and putting on comedy shows like on Broadway, Dangerfields, places like that. Yeah.
Nice.
And he put me on both, more than one occasion. Terrific guy, and a funny guy, and may do the best in-person Rodney Dangerfield impression I've ever seen. He is terrific at it. And some local folks are watching too. Frank Dawson's watching. Helen is taking time from her birthday to watch and invite them.
Nice. Well, happy
Thanks,
birthday.
Helen. Happy birthday, Helen. To you. Hey now. I gotta do the Lion City Lounge version. Hey now. Hope it's a happy birthday. It is for me. Helen, I'm celebrating your birthday. A little shop top. And guys, if you've never had shop top, here's an unsolicited commercial. If you liked Blue Moon?
Blue Moon. It's
Right?
pretty
And I
good.
couldn't even remember the name. I
Yeah.
drink it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, not all the time. In breakfast, I don't mess it. No, I've done that.
I was going to say, a little bit in cereal is not bad.
A little bit of it. Snap, crackle, pop, and
It's okay.
it's great. Fizz! So, but Shock Top tastes very close to Blue Moon as well, and it's pretty good if I do say so myself.
Absolutely.
Which I just did. A couple people watching Josh Suey, he's from Quinn Broadcasting. He's probably going to be producing the sports show that I may be on, or if they go, you had one beer too many, you can't. But considering this is the only one. And some comic friends are watching too, like Gina Gibbons, Maddie Coughlin's watching. Hey Maddie, hi Gina. A friend of mine, Jim Comas, runs the Veterans United Memorial Military Museum. I think I said it wrong, Jim. If you're still watching, you can correct me. But it is VUMMM if you ever want to look it up on Facebook or Google. And they are in Tuckerton, and we did a fundraiser for it. They have a lot of artifacts, a lot of stories, and a lot of things from all the wars, from veterans who supplied them, from all the wars from, I believe it's World War I, all the way up to the present. And it's so interesting, a lot of history there. And he's he'll tell you, he's really the director of it and runs it and puts it all together. And he just likes to say, as we've all heard, the chief cook and mom wash.
Yeah.
Because he does a little bit of everything.
Right.
But he's a really good guy. And thank you, Jim, for putting that out. And thanks for watching tonight. Linda Chadworth Dudley, Stanford East. Her son's a good friend of mine. She's watching. Jeff Scott, another comic. And Zach Reed is watching.
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Mike knows who Zach is. And Zach better know who Mike is. That was just. But thanks, Zach, and thanks, folks, for watching and tuning in. How many years did you guys actually put in? I mean, you said you put in 20.
20. Yeah.
How many did you put in, Mike?
25.
25?
About 10.
Okay. Hey, don't act like
That was
10.
a hard 10.
Oh, that was
That's
just
not
a-
an easy 10. She didn't do an easy 10. She did a hard
I was
10.
gonna say, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do her 10 with parolees.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because, to me, Desiree's job would mean she is a professional whiner listener.
Guarantee.
You know what I mean?
Not a listener.
Well, you're not the
Shut her
professional
down,
whiner.
right?
Well, maybe shut them off. Yeah, you get out. Yeah, you gotta go. You're right.
So you
yeah.
have been in my office before.
We've all done. We always used to say in police work, when somebody asked us and we didn't want to answer the question, we would just say, social worker. Complete opposite.
Exactly.
And nobody went, oh, really? Sure, we're social workers. Yeah, big old guy. I'm a social worker.
Yeah.
Well, see, in corrections, you didn't want to talk about yourself as a
No.
social
Right.
No,
That
no,
was-
in your case,
that
that would be bad.
Taboo.
I mean, we were talking off duty, we never said on duty, obviously. But you're right, when you guys are working, that's the worst thing you could have said you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Unfortunately, the social workers are fine people.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
they
they
are.
are. They really are. But
Doing necessary evil.
they're doing, yeah.
yeah,
They're fine
like
people.
that. Lisa,
I'm sorry.
fine,
People like us couldn't really do
they're
it.
fine
They
people.
are fine people.
But as
They're
uniform staff,
Yeah.
you felt
Right.
like it was like
Us
they were
against them.
degrading you when you
Yes.
called you a super.
They had
social
opposite
worker.
goals that
Yeah.
Right.
kind
It was
of.
us against them.
Exactly.
And we felt the same way, because you always felt you were fighting that peace. And it's tough for a social worker, because let's face it, they're right in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're right in the middle. You gotta get it from us,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna get it from you guys.
Yeah.
Or they try to tell us you're doing it, and, yeah, right, okay, yeah. But she's also getting it from the other side. She's getting it from the parolees.
Yep. Yep.
And so that's a tough gig. I wouldn't want that gig. First off, I think Vegas odds would have had me lasting about 3 hours before I would have wanted to punch somebody. Well, no, an hour before I wanted to, 3 hours before I did. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it. Yeah, congratulations. 10 years. It's like these guys said. I'm sure that's a hard 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, we call them, we do correction years, so
Okay.
one is every 3.
1 equals 3.
They're like dog
I was
years.
just gonna say like dog years, right? 1 equals 7. So I really did 30 years. Jeez. Oh man, well God bless you. Actually, a friend of mine, a therapist, Maria Raimondo, is watching, and she's actually a therapist, and she doesn't do with convicts and parolees, at least hopefully not as often as you do. If you do, babe, I'm sorry. But it's the same thing in a way, because. And I do it with her, and I feel bad sometimes. I'm like, we'll be talking, and all of a sudden I'm realizing I'm dumping my problems off this poor woman who hears nothing but problems all
Right.
day long.
Right.
I'm supposed to be her friend, and I'm going, oh shit. My brain's going, I gotta stop. But she's awesome, and but it's hard. It's hard. I wouldn't want to do it. Never would have wanted to do it.
Yeah.
People go, you're a good listener. No, I'm not really. I'm just nodding my head going, If you asked me 30 seconds like what you said, I have no freaking clue. I'm not listening. I'm in my own world. So, Natalie Levon's watching. Natalie K. Levon, hey, Nat. Nat's like the coolest person. The tasteless diva. If I ever hold a show over here and she's on it, you guys gotta come see her. You guys will crack. She's awesome. She is. She's awesome. So you guys have done so many years, so between all of this, 20, 25, and you're 50, 55 years worth of experience in this stuff, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Think
Absolutely.
about it, that's 55 years, and how many do you think,
Tracy.
Tracy.
I kept thinking Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy's getting ready. Yeah, she had a little bit of work. Yeah, she's getting ready to retire beginning of next year.
So
So
you
she's almost
guys
there.
are going to have 75 years
Yeah.
experience in law enforcement,
And all
and
different
security, and all
Right.
and
Yeah.
different, which
Yeah.
really makes this whole thing a well-rounded thing.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You know, there's something in the field that everybody could ask
Yeah,
a question about. Because if
definitely.
you don't know the answer, you can contact Desiree. If Desiree doesn't know an answer,
Yeah.
she can get a hold of Lisa.
Yeah.
And you guys can all get a hold of Tracy.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have, because somebody in this group is going to,
Circle, yeah.
either in that circle is either going to know the answer or they're going to find it.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get the resources. to
Definitely. I
find
think. How many facilities did you work at, Mike?
I worked at Southern State, Avenel, South Florida, Bayside.
Yeah, and I worked at several too. I worked at Trenton, Bordentown, community programs. I was up there. So between us, we've seen from minimum. I worked at New Jersey State Prison, the Max Prison. So we've seen from community to Max and everywhere in between. Use,
Right.
so a lot of different things. So between all of us, we've seen,
Yeah.
a lot of what's out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I tell the story before I became a police officer. I told Mike this story, I think. I I took the civil service tests for corrections because I lived in Leesburg.
Mhm.
And they hadn't changed the name yet. It was still called Leesburg
Yeah,
State
yeah.
Prison.
Yep.
Right.
But they had the
Yep.
farm and they had
Yep.
just built the medium. And of course I took the civil service test and had taken chief's test for police work. And all that time you're busting your hump to find out if I can get into either, and all of a sudden they both called at the same time. It's like, what decision do I make? Money-wise and security-wise would have been actually the corrections job at the time. Police work paid maybe almost the same, but sometimes the benefits were the same.
Right.
And that depended on the department.
Right.
But my mother lived in Leesburg, literally a quarter mile the other side of the woods.
Mhm.
So this guy says, well, we're thinking you have pretty good marksmanship records from police academy, I already met. And you got good marksmanship records, and so let me ask you a question. Do you think you'd have any problem emotionally shooting somebody running for the fence? And of course they didn't know where my mother was, and I just went, can I tell you something, sir? And I've told you what I think about guys in white shirts. I'm not a white shirt.
Wait a minute.
You're
I was
you
almost.
both-
I was
well,
almost on it.
I was going to say, when I retired, I actually was a white shirt, so
Right.
for like a year, and
Right.
they kept yelling at me for not wearing it. 3 to 11, I didn't wear the white shirt. I'm a walking target. Look at me. I look like the Michelin Man now, for crying out. The people. I'm not wearing a white shirt now, too, to add on top of it. So the guy says, you got any problem? Through the fence, and he's having me look through this window on the 3rd or 4th floor or 2nd floor or something. And I'm like, sir, with all due respect, you saw my marks. That part's no problem. I said, my mother lives a quarter mile through them woods right now. The only problem I have is deciding whether I want to put 1 or 2 in the back of his head, because he ain't getting near my mama.
There you go.
He was like, okay.
Check.
Done. And got a call, and it was weird. The same day I got the 2 calls too. 2 days later from both
It
places.
seems like it always happens that
It
way.
always happens. It's like 1 minute this, and next minute that. Which one do
Yeah.
you choose? So,
Mhm.
but that'll tell you the emotion that you have to block off a little bit too sometimes, and people don't realize that.
Mhm.
I don't think it's a fraternity.
Oh,
to me.
definitely.
I mean,
For sure.
in law enforcement, it is family. You hear people go, it is a fraternity because, in all honesty, sometimes in law enforcement, the only people that understand what we're going through are other law enforcement people.
Mhm.
And it's the same with the medical field or any field.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, doctors only understand doctors. Nurses and doctors have their own thing. Anybody in the medical field, paramedics, EMTs, and you know, from doing CPR and stuff too.
Absolutely.
All those folks all relate to each other best. But that's what makes it work.
Yeah, well, they're all high stress, high emotion. They take
Yeah.
a toll on you as a person.
We certainly do.
And, you know, the people that you can count on are those people that you're with day in and day out.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
that is a definite.
Yeah.
We certainly do. So you do SOAR classes, you do CPR classes.
Yep.
And the community thing that you do, I want you to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, you know what, Deseree, even though she doesn't really want to talk too much, but we're going to have her talk.
We're gonna. This is her gig,
There
so
you
let's
go.
get over here.
Come on.
She's our training coordinator, actually, for the company. So maybe she could talk a little bit about the training class we have and maybe the new one that we just developed. And then I'll finish up and go over a couple more of the security services we offer.
That'd be great.
Would you do that?
I will do that. Thank
So,
you. Thank you very much.
no.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, we're excited about a couple of our training programs, and one of them is we're trained by Sabre. They're the guys that make the pepper spray that the DOC
I
and
was
the
just gonna
police
say.
use and the
Yep.
NYPD use, and they have a program that we offer here called the Civilian Safety Awareness Program, and it's really great because in 3 hours we teach you anybody, and it doesn't matter as long as you're over 18 for the most part for this particular program. You could be 85, it doesn't matter. It teaches you, right? So everybody's in. It teaches you, first off, awareness and how to look for those danger signals or suspicious people or behavior that is not Right. It also reflects a mirror right back at you. I had one student say, I had no idea I was such a target.
Yeah.
And she said, I thought I was a badass. I'm not.
Right.
And not to pull the rug out from under people, but we really look at your own behavior and the behaviors that are wanted by the people that attack you. And nobody that gets attacked thinks they're going to be attacked. So
And we've all seen that how many times, out there.
Yeah,
Out there
absolutely.
and inside. Is you get a false sense of security and you totally are oblivious.
won't happen
And the
to me.
next thing you know, it happened to
And it
me.
It
will.
can.
It can. And
So this class goes into that, and then you get a pepper spray with it. You get some practice pepper sprays. And we actually have a really good time with it, as strange as it sounds. You think it would be all serious and scary, and it's
Well,
not.
no,
It's
it's
actually
fun.
fun.
I got you. Yeah.
Because part of it, you get to shoot Mike.
Yay.
Whoa!
Wait,
hey,
why haven't I
that's-
taken this class?
I'm going to.
I'm saying
So that's a lot of fun, you know? You get to actually practice on Mike and get to spray him. So
Weighs a
that,
lot, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
so it's actually a lot of fun. And by the time you walk out, you're actually less likely to be attacked because they say this is actually a statistic, because you actually behave in a way that is less vulnerable without even realizing it.
Right.
And just carrying your pepper spray gives you an awareness. Or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, we sell pepper sprays and we sell,
And that's what I want you guys to touch on too, is I think a lot of people think that you have to have some kind of a certification or you have to have some kind of a licensing situation to get any kind of protective spray or something. And that's not necessarily true, is
not
it?
in New Jersey, no, we sell stun guns, personal alarms, we sell a lot of stun guns actually.
Really?
Which sometimes just pushing the button on a stun gun is enough to
Is
send
enough.
somebody scared away.
That's awesome. I mean, I saw, well, I'm not going to go into a war story, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, just one, yeah. It just makes people go, hold, I'm done. I mean, they're ready to duke it out and you go,
There's much easier targets out there than
Yeah.
somebody with a
Right.
stun gun.
oh, absolutely.
But we adjust the class. We have one that's specific for college students. It doesn't come with a pepper spray just because different schools require different things. But you can purchase whatever you want. But that's specifically geared toward college students
Right.
because they are vulnerable. And if guys don't think they're vulnerable,
Well,
they're wrong.
yeah. And actually, somebody makes a point too about medical people. Margie Holmes says a lot of hospitals are doing CPI training, which is crisis prevention, which you guys probably know. And apparently, medical personnel, like nurses, the attacks on nurses are a lot more prevalent. They're going on the rise as well.
Oh, sure. I mean, you think about it, they work long hours. They get off different times of the day and night.
Yeah.
They walk into parking lots, parking
Yes.
garages based on where you work. So any kind of additional training that they could have to help them be aware and be more proficient in using pepper spray.
Exactly.
Not just spraying it, but actually
Right.
using
Actually,
it
how to use it
effectively.
effectively.
Well, no one's sacred anymore.
Right.
You know, we also have a program for realtors.
Yeah.
Because they have one of the more dangerous jobs that if you think about what some of these people do, they're meeting people they've never met, don't know, haven't vetted out, they don't know anything about them, and they're going to be in an abandoned house.
I was
with
just
all
going to say, how many times are they by
Yeah,
themselves with this
absolutely.
prospective buyer?
Open houses,
Yeah.
they're there all
Yeah.
day with people
Yeah.
coming and
of.
going.
No one is secret.
No
Look at
one.
a nurse can get attacked. I mean,
Right.
you know, nobody is secret. So that's something we're really happy that we offer to people. And like I said, the class doesn't matter. You don't have to be a particular age or ability to be able to shoot pepper spray.
Right. And that's
Because the elderly get attacked too.
oh shit, big time, huge.
And just the situational awareness part of it,
It's a
Desiree,
big deal.
is a big
Yeah.
deal. Like, you know, I talked to you guys before about my daughter who's in college right now, and it's
Oh, that's scary.
sort of
That's gotta
scary
be scary.
when you hear
Here's
some
trafficking
things.
laws.
Yeah, you know, so just
Petrifying.
teaching them how to pay attention to where you're at, your surroundings, and you know, and just being aware of what's going on, not putting yourselves in a position.
And you don't
Teaching
have to be
people to
hyper
do it.
aware all the time.
No, you just
No.
need to be a little aware.
Habits.
Right, but
Yeah.
get into the habit of, not being oblivious,
Yeah.
if anything else.
Absolutely.
We've taken a few courses, classes, seminars in human trafficking, and it's not all sex trafficking
No,
either.
no.
There's labor trafficking,
Yep.
and I just opened my
Oh, yeah,
eyes
there's
to
actually slave labor still.
true, very much
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
So, and that has no age limit. I mean, women in their 50s have gotten taken for sex trafficking.
I think
which-
human trafficking is actually the biggest crime
It's huge.
in the United
It's
States.
growing so
Yeah.
But they're
fast,
careful who they
it's
choose
terrible.
and opportunistic.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those services that I wish people were a little bit more willing to take the time and money to do, because it
Yeah.
can save your life.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
somebody that's with you.
Yeah.
And then, what's our newest one that you just recently developed?
We have a safety program for check cashing places.
Oh,
These people have dangerous jobs and don't realize it, and there are many different trainings and things for banking. People that are bankers.
right,
Nobody has a training for check cashing.
right. Yeah, it's
So
true.
we developed it on our own with some banking, but this is specific to check cashing,
Right.
pawn shops.
Yeah.
If I
that's a
was
good
gonna
one,
hold
too.
somebody up,
Oh, you want to go to a pawn shop?
I'm not going
Oh,
to a bank.
Don't go to a bank. Because they
Go
have
to a pawn shop.
Well, pawn shops have
Go
cameras
to
too.
check
but
cash.
still, yeah.
Camera doesn't stop a bullet.
It was ironic. We used to say they needed it all the time, but I used to go to a place in Massachusetts in the wintertime near Christmas when I lived up there, and they would hire us. I was still in police work. They would hire us off-duty police officers, but only during Christmas time,
Right.
because they always thought that was the heaviest time.
Right.
It was, but you also had early in the month. You also had every Friday or Saturday payday, or every other one. Anybody with a monthly income. So I mean, we used to say, hey, you might want to think about doing something, even if it's not us. And that was the thing that we used to say. It doesn't have to be us. It doesn't have to be the police.
Right.
But you might want to think about getting some kind of a deterrent or some kind of a security presence here. Because you're right, you can see the money in the people just in and out of it, crazy. And there were times they got hit.
Yeah, and I mean, check cashing places sometimes have people that frequent there that can't open an account someplace else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't know who is coming and going in there versus a bank that has all your personal information.
Right.
On in their records.
Yeah.
Because you have an account there. These are
Sure.
places that don't have accounts. People come and go. They got a check. They need to cash it. So. If we can help in the community to keep people a little bit safer, that's our objective.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not just us offering security guard services ourselves, but training for people in the community.
Yeah, and
County
that's what I
surrounding areas.
admired, and that's part of why I liked you guys in the beginning, is because of that. It's really a community service. It's really a public service still, and you guys are still doing a public service, and that's one that you guys are. Yeah, you go out in the community and help. I mean, to me, that's a big deal.
I'd love it for Cumberland County to be the safest county in New Jersey.
That would be great. That would be awesome.
One person at a time.
One person at a
One
time.
person at a time.
I'm feeling safer in this room.
Exactly.
Trust me, I feel very safe in this room right here. Well, I'm going to take a quick break, or give you guys a quick break, I guess, if you want to walk around or go refresh your drinks or whatever. We have a couple folks that are helping pay for us to be here tonight, so I want to make sure that we take care of them. We want to thank them first. First off, a young man is out of Atlantic County. His name's Rolando Lobo, and he's hitting on something. He's working for somebody now. It's a private company, but it's hitting on something right now that I'm getting ready to do, which is retire. We've all retired. And there are a lot of people when they retire that have issues and questions about Medicare. Well, let me tell you, Rolando can help you explain Medicare Parts A and B and the difference between having supplemental versus an advantage plan and insurance with medical, and of course prescription drug coverages he can help you with too and give you that information. So, and he works with numerous characters too. He works with numerous carriers, and he'll provide you with the best option for your insurance needs. Because what he does is he'll take the information you have, what can you do, what do you have, what do you need medically, and try to taper that into something that's as affordable as he can make it for you, but yet is going to help you the best.
That's great.
And that's really what this does. So you can call him at Hafis. You can touch base with me on the Public John channel of Facebook if you want the page. It's HAFETZ. It's Hafis and Associates. Just ask for Rolando. He'll give you a free Medicare evaluation. And the number is 609-872-0001. His private extension, if you want it, is extension 176. That's Rolando Lobo with Hafis. That's 609-872-0001, extension 176. And I want to thank him. I thank him too because he really does. He's very conscientious in doing that. So that's great. Thank you, Lobo. Yeah. But then we get to a more local guy who does a great job too, and you guys probably heard of this guy, Casper's Power Washing.
Yeah, we know Casper.
Dave,
Nice
Albert,
man.
nice guy, right?
Nice guy.
And I'll tell you, folks, rather than go out and spend a whole lot of money and have a lot of time taking up painting your house this time of year, or getting aluminum, or I guess it's more vinyl siding these days, right? Before you do that, and vinyl siding's kind of cliche, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it looks very nice, but some people get it just to get it, Don't get me wrong, it also, I think, sometimes supposedly brings the property value up. But other buyers, it makes them suspicious, like, why did you have to cover all this up? What's underneath it? But Albert Casper Jr. with Casper's Power Washing, you'll be amazed, in 3 hours they can come out, and I saw them do it. You've seen the building over in Bridgeton.
Yeah.
There's been some buildings over there. That building was dingy, gray, dirty, whatever. Albert and his guys went over there, and in 3 hours, they were probably considering painting it or something, and they went over, and that thing looks white as white as the day one.
Absolutely.
It looks great. It was like 3 hours. He'll come out and give you a free estimate anywhere in South Jersey. I know he's went up as far as into Camden, which you might need. He might need your services if those guys go into that direction.
Well, Albert can carry it down.
Albert can still, yes, Albert's still working in that. Yeah, so he can still carry on, but you never know. He's got other guys working for him, so you never know. But that's Casper's Power Washing. You can find them on Facebook or on Google. It's Casper's Power Washing LLC. They will come out. They'll give you a free estimate. And like I said, to me, it's worth the investment just to look at the house first before you go spending thousands of dollars, taking all that time to go, hey, wait a minute. The house looks great now. Why would I bother?
Right.
His number is 856-297-2984, 856-297-2984. Get down with the ghost. Get down with Casper's Power Washing, folks. They're right here out of, basically, it's not Bridgeton, Cumberland County area. So he'll get out there and he'll help you out. And then we'll do one more, and then later on we'll do the movie review right before we go. But we talked about Zach Reed earlier. Zach is jumping back into his business, which is NJ Premier DJ. He's up and running and stuff, and he still goes out and does some ventures by himself. There's events, wedding, parties. If you guys want to have a good time and you don't want to worry about anything, you don't want to worry about the music, the dancing, interacting with people, and Mike can tell you too, Zach's the kind of guy that if he sees two people over in the corner and trying to get away, oh, no, folks, come on, join the party. Zach's going to get you in there. So it's NJ Premier DJ, trust me, for events and for things like that, like weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, for crying out loud. Anything you want to do, I couldn't help it, I had to do it. Anything you want to do as far as a function, NJ Premier DJ, sure, why not? Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly, that's what I
You
said.
know, I'm
Never
going-
say that.
No, well, that's true. I should never open the door.
There you go.
Yeah, at least I
There
opened.
you go.
At least I
I
spoiled
gotta
me over
direct
by
the whole
that.
situation here again.
Yeah, okay,
See,
okay, you gotta
still
do it.
directing.
So it's
Still
NJ.
on top of the world.
Take direction.
Oh,
So you can speak to NJ Premier DJ. You're gonna have a good time, almost as good a time as we're having here right now. That's an 856-440.
We could actually use him here right now.
We could have him come in.
Should
Party!
Yeah.
We got some music in the background. Get some Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, you ain't
soundtrack.
party till you see me try to dance.
Yes.
You know that lady from Seinfeld?
That's classic. That's a classic comedy line. That's good. 856-440-3907, New Jersey Premier DJ. 856-440-3907, NJ Premier DJ. Make sure you give them guys a call because they're pretty good. Like I said, we got one more thing later on, but we're going to do it. We got 10 or 12 minutes or 15 minutes of time left, and we're going to have a good time. And I just want Mike and everybody to let us know what's going on. Now, Lisa, besides CPR, you're a SOAR trained
Yeah, I'm
teacher
also
as well?
a SOAR instructor. Yes, SOAR instructor. So as is Tracy. So we sort of started off just ourselves, and because we know Mike so well, and we know how great an instructor Mike is. We wanted to see. Yeah, no, really.
Yeah,
I'll pay you later.
Lisa's sucking up to the boss. Yeah, on video and all of it.
Yeah, I know. We need some tissues down
Okay,
here.
this is Lisa sucking up to my crap. That's
Let me
editorial.
finish. Let me finish.
You're finished. Okay.
So, no, because
She's like, shut up.
Yeah, no, because we knew how great a job that Mike does and Deseree, that we, thought we'd try to team up with them some and maybe, put our heads together and see where we can go and try to me I feel like we're giving back. I mean, that sounds corny,
Right.
but I
Yeah,
feel like
no.
we're taking the best of what we learned
Absolutely.
through working, and we're trying to give it back and help those that are now in situations that maybe we can give them, the best footing that they're going to need to do well in their job. So.
And now that we're gathered as a group, we're getting together, we're trying to brainstorm and come up with additional stuff that we could offer to the community as well. Advanced security officers training, maybe even some firearm safety, home safety.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lisa and
Tracy and I both are
firearms instructors for years.
That's outstanding.
So
So I'd
if we
love
could-
to see you guys too. If I go for the
If we could add even classroom how to come up with some kind of training on how to be safe at home with weapons, because people are starting to buy them now.
Oh,
People
sure.
are getting scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just because you have it at home don't mean that you're going to be safe.
It can be a liability if you don't know what you're doing with them.
Oh,
So,
no, exactly.
Yeah, so-
Everybody needs to know
Yeah.
cautions
So
and how to handle a firearm correctly. That's important.
Yeah.
So we definitely would like to add different training. So we're trying to brainstorm. We do resume service for security officers that are trying to,
You know what? That's
trying to get
huge.
a job. So
That's
Deseree
huge.
works on that. We put out
That's good.
plenty already, and so some of the students that take our class, they're new to the security field and the industry, and we work with them to come up with a resume that looks professional,
Yeah,
so that when they're out trying to get their first or second or third security job, it looks a little bit more professional.
That's huge. And you know what it does too is it gives that prospective security officer a little self-esteem too. I mean, let's
Absolutely.
face it, they walk in and they don't necessarily know all the time.
Confidence, and it
It's
gives
just
the
confidence.
it gives the employers confidence in that they're
Yeah.
hiring somebody that's been through a competent training.
Well, that's
Right.
the
Yeah,
reputation
so,
that
yeah.
I hope that we have, is that if you hire somebody that went through SOAR training with
Well, you
us,
guys,
you're
right.
gonna get a quality,
Right.
they had a quality education. I tell you, the resumes that are the most challenging are you guys. Retired
Oh.
law enforcement.
What?
do you?
Hang on,
No.
stop it.
No, I know,
I'm
right?
just messing with
Go
you.
go ahead.
Getting
I
them
know
down
exactly
to,
where
getting
she's
them down
going.
to one page
Exactly, that's
is my
where-
specialty.
So my 17-page resume doesn't fly
I was
so
just
much.
gonna say, I have
See,
one
mine was
piece.
25, and she was like, "Really? You
That's
saved all
crazy.
this?"
Yeah, that's
and I'm
so
like,
crazy.
"Yeah, I'm proud." And she's like, "Okay, but I just want to look at it all."
You know what's
Nobody
worse?
cares
You
about
guys
that.
probably know this. I moved semi-recently and had everything in a box. So of course, when you're first starting out,
Right.
I had all these certificates framed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now I got about 25 freaking things framed that I haven't hung up in years. I'm like, they're like frisbees now. It's like, what do I do with them? Because, but they're important.
It's
Every so
important.
often I look at it and I go, oh, I forgot I even did this. And I go, I know, of course, then your ego goes, well, they go, damn, I was good. But I mean, it is true that that you need that self-esteem and that confidence to go out there.
Absolutely.
And a resume, a well-written resume, a professional-looking resume is huge.
Yeah.
Even if the employer talks to the officer for a few minutes and goes, no way this guy wrote that resume. But, and I ran a security company in Massachusetts for about 5 years. Okay, I retired. The other thing I'm thinking though is, this guy at least took the time to go get this done
Sure.
right.
And the initiative, absolutely.
Took the
Absolutely.
initiative.
And he can back it up.
And
Maybe he
can
didn't write
back
the
it-
words, but he can back up what's on
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just, they have the information, it's just putting it together that
Yeah.
looks good, looks presentable.
That's exactly
Well,
right.
my graphic design experience from back in the
Yeah.
day kicked in
Oh, yeah.
because that matters. I'm pulling up Mike's just so you can see
Uh-oh.
what his
Uh-oh.
resume
Uh-oh.
actually looks
I
like.
don't know if you
This
guys...
isn't the one where we give them dollar bills. It's the other one,
It's
right?
the other one, right?
other
Yeah, that's
You know,
not when I was a stripper.
No.
I didn't include
You don't,
that.
you shut the soundtrack off, right? And chicka bow bow. Oh, that's it's
Take it
81.
easy. Yeah.
Slow down, John. She
Slow
looks
down a
slow
bit.
the roll down. Don't give away everything.
So now I can do it in a nursing home maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
Oh God, yeah.
dance a little slow.
There's a whole
I don't wanna
thing.
hit-
Oh,
That's
throw my
okay,
back
listen.
out. Might be a new niche.
There's always a niche for you, Mike. We can find it. We can find it. Don't worry.
Walk in with a 6-pack of tennis balls and a knife that you can cut
That's
in
it.
half.
That's
and
the only
you're the
six-pack
man.
I've got today.
That's
you know what I mean? And
the one in the
Oh,
fridge. That's right.
goodness.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, so, and this might actually get serious. We were talking earlier, and I said, let's talk about a couple stories. Lisa, tell me the most memorable time you did CPR. Doesn't have to be positive. It could be whatever
Yeah.
the most memorable one is.
You know, in all truthfulness, in the course of 20 years, there probably was 3 instances in the prison that I had to use CPR in some form or fashion. I might have been helping, you know what I mean,
Right.
but we were there. And, you know, a lot of times with the inmates, unfortunately, we wouldn't always catch the event as soon as it happened, because a lot of times it happens when they're in their cell at night. It seems like, you know, it sort of happens that
yard
way
or
in the
something,
yard,
yeah.
right? And then you have to get teams out there. You know, there's a whole protocol you have to do. But yeah, I do remember, you know, standing on a stretcher, you know, trying to, you know, help. And they have medical staff and all, but before the first to arrive, we sort of keep on for a bit, you know, till they take over.
Till they
And,
take over.
you know, so it's not,
Well, remember the old thing.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a cadence at one point.
yeah, well, there still is. It's a little
It's still
faster
there.
than that, but it's still
Well,
there that
yeah.
you're doing it, yeah. But, you know, it's not, you know, as much as we're doing it to help somebody, it's really a scary, even though I was trained in it and I taught it and I knew it, it's
every
still a
time.
really scary experience. It's, you know, makes you think about things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, in my eyes, if it's successful or not successful, we're giving that person the best chance
Exactly.
to survive. You know what I mean?
That's the
So,
key. Is you give them
you know,
every
there's
shot.
sometimes you
to
just
win.
can't help, you know, somebody, especially as a layperson. You know, CPR is not like on TV where, you know, you're doing CPR and then they jump up and they're like, hey, thanks, you know, that was awesome, right? It doesn't,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
happen
it doesn't
like
happen
that.
like that.
No.
They don't turn to the side, spit water out.
No,
They're
no,
trying
no,
to come
yeah.
and go, hey, okay, let's go
Yeah.
swimming. Yeah.
So we're just trying to give them as big a chance as we can until that advanced medical care comes. And without us, the chances are super slim.
Yeah.
And with us and with AEDs, you know, that jumps up that,
and you gotta admit,
chance of
that's
survival.
probably the best invention.
it
ever.
absolutely is, absolutely.
No
So,
matter what.
You know, and I think that over the years, the Department of Corrections required us to get CPR training. Okay, it was part of what we had to do.
Right.
Whether you wanted to, you didn't want to, it didn't matter, you had to.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's probably important that you have it for your home life as well.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
because
Oh, absolutely. How many times have we heard about if you have a baby,
Yeah.
a little toddler, who swallowed something?
choking is
I mean, you
huge
gotta
with
know
children.
choking.
Yeah, choking is
Unlike-
huge.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's huge. That's all
Abdominal thrust.
part of it.
Abdominal thrust.
Yeah,
Well, that was
abdominal
20
thrust.
years ago.
Remember that?
Abdominal
Yeah,
thrust, yeah.
Remember that?
yeah,
You remember it?
Yeah, and actually,
But if you think about it,
Yeah.
I mean, it is so important, and that's just the toddler, that's not an adult.
Mhm.
I mean, it is is so important to be able to at least have a basic understanding of the first aid and basic understanding of CPR because you just don't know.
Well,
Especially here.
yeah.
We all live in, rural areas.
Absolutely.
How long does it take for an ambulance to get in, especially if it's a volunteer
Yeah.
rescue squad?
Yeah.
You don't know how long it's
Right.
going to take,
Yeah.
and you can't just stand there. And,
Mhm.
you got to make that effort. You have to try,
Yeah.
and that's what's important, I think.
Yeah, there's, statistically, 4 out of every 5 cardiac arrests happen outside of a medical setting, outside of a hospital.
Right,
So the
exactly.
chances that the 4 of us are going to see it are much greater than
Much
a
more
doctor and
than a
nurse,
doctor and
that
nurse,
advanced medical care.
Right.
So,
So I mean,
It's
we're the
super
ones that have to
important.
step
Yeah.
in and say, hey, okay, boom, and there's no hesitation. You can't go, oh, do I need no? You got to jump in there and you got to do it. So
You
that
know, it's-
training is so
The prime.
And that's why we felt that it was important to add that to what we do here. Add that, and it's another option for security officers if they want it, and for their family or anybody in the community that wants to take it and take it with us.
Yeah. And I think that's a great idea because it actually is a little innovative. I don't think too many security companies do that as far as CPR and first aid. But if you think about it, part protective. And let's face it, if you're at a facility, who's the person you're going to go to?
absolutely,
You're going
security.
to go to the security guy at the desk, the security guy at the
Absolutely.
gatehouse, the guardhouse.
It also makes people
Person making the rounds.
attractive as employees.
Higher
You
Right.
have that. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? I have
Oh,
this.
it's
You don't have to.
It's another qualification
Right.
that Deseree could put
Yeah.
on the resume.
Absolutely.
Perfect. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So we want to thank everybody here. Thank all you guys for tuning in. At least on my page, at least, there's a great reaction of people watching. I hope you've learned a little something about these folks tonight. Hope you guys will have me back. We'll come back and talk about other stuff or refresh some stuff. Maybe next time we get into, we can figure out a way to do a video so you guys can give some demonstration. Mike, I'm sure will be more than glad to be stunned on camera.
We can shoot him in the face with pepper
Or
spray.
spray him. Oh, we can stone him.
Absolutely.
We can spray him.
Absolutely.
Oh, Lisa, we
When are
got.
we setting that up?
Oh, we're gonna set that puppy up. We might just do a separate video and post it somewhere for you. But oh man, that could be fun. So I want to do one more quick thing that's sponsored, and then. But I do want to thank all you guys for helping me, making me feel comfortable tonight, and giving out some really important information. Mike, give us where they can find you, where they can contact you guys, or Deseree, or Lisa, either one. How can they get a hold of you guys to take either the public service classes, or the SORA classes, or the CPR classes, and the self-protection stuff?
Okay.
And you guys sell that stuff too, right? If
Yeah,
they
we
need it?
sell personal protective items such as pepper spray and stun guns. You can buy them online. We have a store.
Oh, you got your own store
Yeah,
online?
we have an online store on our website. But you can go to our website.
All right, what is your website, he says?
It's
Who needs it?
KenneyProtectiveAgency.com. But Kenney is Kenney. Make sure you spell it
Protective.
Yeah, don't forget that second E.
Agency.com. Or you can go to SoraSouthJersey.com and it'll bring you right to our page as well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's awesome. Deseree, anything to add?
Thank you.
No, guys. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you, and again,
It was fun.
it's my little time to talk to my boss here.
There you
Thank
go.
you, Mike. And
Absolutely.
Desiree.
Thank
Oh.
you.
For including us in me and
There was
Tracy. Here we go,
Lisa's
yeah.
once
Here we
again
go,
kissing
yeah.
back to the boss
But
again.
no, I am appreciative to Mike and
She is quote unquote appreciative.
and Desiree for letting us sort of join forces with them and see what we can get done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say on a serious note for a minute, even though I'm smiling and we're laughing and we're going, is that if Mike, because I took the class with Mike and I've talked to Mike a couple times. We did a TV thing together, I think, and a couple other times I've talked to Mike. I'm very comfortable with Mike's experience and with his knowledge. So if he asked you guys, or however it happened, I don't know. If he's comfortable with you guys being with him and instructing, all right, I'm thinking that that's the right move. If he's comfortable with you guys, then you guys have impressed him, and that's, to me, that's great, because that means you have confidence in him.
Oh, absolutely.
That should tell everybody that, hey, no matter who's here, folks, Kenney Protective Agency get over here, take these classes, take some things to help yourselves out, whether it's self-protection or whether it's SORA training,
Get a
armed
job,
or
get a
unarmed,
job. Let's get
CPR
working.
training.
Yeah.
Let's get to work.
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm almost retired from one thing, but I'm probably going to go into something along these lines. It's what I know. It's what I'm comfortable in. And, you know what I mean?
Security
The security thing. You know what I'm saying?
company.
Yeah. No, I didn't think so. I wasn't going for the laugh there. There it was.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got the laugh though. That is mine. And sometimes when I tell a joke, I'm the only one that cares about that particular joke. It is. You're that way? Okay.
All my jokes are funny.
If he does say so himself. So to him, they're funny. That's all that matters. So I'm going to give the quick movie review because we have a sponsor for it, number one. And number two, I felt bad because we had something and I don't think it got heard last time, so I want to give it its due. Because it is a big movie that's out there, which is Avengers Endgame. And I don't know if any of you guys have saw it. I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen it.
Have you seen it? Okay. I'm going to go into just the basic review. I'm not going to go into the characters and all that because that's kind of a spoiler. You don't want to go into all that. But Margie Homan, who's been on tonight actually and talked about CPR and raised the question about nurses and stuff, and she's a nurse. So I want to thank Margie for that. She sponsors the movie review here on the Public John podcast. She says she's going to start with a brief synopsis of the film, which is, it's really a sequel to, what was it, Avengers? It was another Avengers movie. I can't remember.
Yeah, they have like
My
20,
memory. They have
27.5
37.5 movies or
Yeah.
something. But there was the last one, Infinity Wars, I think was what it was. Yeah. Thanos was an intergalactic villain, seeking some things that would make him control the universe, and Avengers, certain ones. And I'm not giving this short shrift. I just don't want to give too much away about the movie because it is a highly popular movie right now. And I am an action movie guy, as most guys are. And I would say most people in the field. Lisa, you probably like action movies.
I do like action.
See, there you
I
go.
haven't seen this yet, but I do like action.
I haven't
movies.
yet either.
Yeah.
I'm chomping at the bit
Yeah.
to go see it, I think.
Yep.
So at the end of the movie, Thanos snapped his fingers, wiped out half the universe. That was in Infinity Wars, which is the prequel to this. Endgame starts from there, and other characters like Iron Man and another one, Nebula, some ships without power, short on airtime, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go into the story too much because you got to see it. But she does tell us that the first half of the movie spent on character development, show humanity in the superheroes, so it's not just Superman flying, boom, show the humanity about that kind of thing. Of course, Superman's not in this movie because he's not part of this
Marvel,
world. That was just an example. I'll make that clear. I don't want any comic book people going, Superman wouldn't be there because he's not a Marvel. Okay, I understand. Let's get that clear. I mean, you got to worry about what? Never mind. I'm not going to go into it. I could go off on. Let's just say we got to worry about political correctness. And are you telling the right comic book character with the right comic book company?
They're very passionate, just like we are about
they
They're
are.
passionate
Actually,
about this.
and
Yeah.
that's cool. Everybody has
Yeah,
an interest.
absolutely.
So we talk about, it pulls on a few heartstrings as well as a few deaths of principal characters, and that's as close to a spoiler as you're going to get. There are some characters and superheroes that don't make it to the end, so you have to watch the movie to see who. Margie does say, now here's the thing with Margie, and I do want to explain this. To me, she is qualified to give a movie review in the respect that she has, I saw her, she did acting and has taken a lot of acting courses in college, has done acting in community theater, is venturing into comedy, has done some singing. So she has been in the entertainment world. She's not just a novice. It's not like just me with a clicker going, well, look at that, I got Netflix. It's not, that kind of thing. So she does have some qualifications with it. And she said she would see the movie again, even though it is a 3-hour running time. So that'll tell you something.
Yeah.
3-hour running time's tough for me. 3 hours of any one thing is tough for me. There are things that if it took 3 hours, I'd be like, is it really worth it?
It holds your attention.
Yeah, it does. That's what she said. It's a good final film and what happened. And this is what, if you think about it, it's true. 10 years and 22 movie Marvel franchises.
Wow.
10 years. This kind of story's been going on to build up to this one movie. And that's a great point. And hence the name Endgame, I guess. She would suggest watching the other one, Infinity Wars, before you watch this one, because you'll have a better idea what's going on. This is one of those few that you really gotta watch the sequel, or prequel. Few plot lines in Endgame with time travel, alternative timelines, things like that. But considering multiple characters and storylines, the directors did an outstanding job, she says, of tying up loose ends, which anytime you're gonna end a series. And they got a good background on the characters. It's a good idea to see the first Avengers movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and the first Thor movie. I will say, I thoroughly enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. It was funny as well as, if you ever get a chance to see that, it's fun. That one is, don't get me wrong, it's action-packed.
Right.
At least it's got some action in it, but it is funny as hell. There's some great lines in it, so it's funny. So there's Margie Homan's movie review. I want to thank Margie, and I want to thank all you folks for watching. Albert Casper Jr. is watching now. What up? He says, what's up, fellas? Well, it's not just fellas, it's ladies too. You know Albert, you know he, the case the cactus he. So, and like we said earlier, Albert Casper, get down with the ghost. I'll give you his number again, folks, 856-297-2984. And remember, this is the time of year to actually get in your house or deck power washed, because it'll save you a few bucks in the long run in time too. So there we go. Anything else, guys?
No, I mean, this was great. We had a great time.
Margie,
your name is
Margie, yes.
Margie, if you have any nurses that are interested, you know any, please pass us on. We can come to you if you got a group of people. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook if you would. Kenney Protective Agency on Facebook, as well as our website. And we're just trying to enjoy what we do. And we're trying to help the community with training as well as security services.
That's what's great.
Check us out on our website in case there just may be something you guys need done.
Awesome. That's terrific. Lisa, anything?
No,
Michael,
this
thank
was
you
fun.
very much.
Thank you, John.
This has been fun, and I hope informative for everybody out there, because to me this was important that we come and talk to Mike and Deseree and Lisa here. I just do feel bad Tracy wasn't here, but maybe next time we'll come back again and we'll do the video. Thank you for the invitation. That's awesome. And it's a shame that refreshments were served.
Well, now we can go to what law enforcement.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
Law enforcement usually likes.
There you go, folks. The breakfast of champions. Hair of the dog and something to wash it down. So we did go through those. So Margie says, "Will do, Mr. Kenney." So she will pass all the info.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, that's great.
So Margie, we thank you. We thank everybody out there for watching tonight. Please tune in. I'm going to be all over the place. We just found out today that we're going to be in Kearney's in Cape May over the summer, at least once a month, if not more, doing comedy shows for you. We just had a pretty good one last week. We want to thank Kearney's. I want to thank all you guys. Make sure you just check on the JohnHarrisComedy.com website, the Public John Facebook page, and you can email me at all those addresses as well. So thanks, folks. Thanks for watching. Lisa, can you do me a favor? Go over there and hit the button that says finish. Obviously, I can keep on talking till you do. So, but folks, thank you very much. I think it's to the right of the bottom of the screen. There you